Hey everybody, it's Brad at Deere Brothers LLC out in Versailles, Ohio. Going to do another walk around video followed by an operational video on this 1990 John Deere 2755 that came in and we're putting up for sale. Like always, I'll walk around, I'll talk about the features and functions, I'll get up close to everything, I'll show you everything that I see, tell you everything that I know, and of course we'll fire it up, run it through its paces, show you the 3-point and the PTO, let you hear the engine, show you the brakes are good. As always, if you are in the market for a used tractor, a used piece of ag equipment, or a used piece of construction equipment, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Your likes and subscriptions help other people who are looking for equipment find our videos and find our machines, and we truly do appreciate it. All right, like I said, this one is a 1990 John Deere 2755 OROPS 2-wheel drive. Does have a sunshade. This one has the high-low transmission, so 16 forward and 8 reverse gears, 2 rear remotes. It's got the extendable 3-point links, 6 front suitcase weights, and hydrostatic power steering. These were 88 horsepower. This one is showing 5,546 hours, but the hour meter is not ticking over. So I don't know the exact hours. That's what it's showing, but the hour meter does not tick over. As I get up close to it here, you'll see this is not a pretty tractor by any stretch of the imagination. It's got spots where it's been repainted and it's got dents and dings and scratches. I'll get up and show you all that stuff, but it does start up and run. So looking here on this side here, this sheet metal, you'll see, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's a couple of different layers of paint there, kind of flaking off in a few spots, kind of thin up here. Again, you can kind of see it here, some runs where they repainted it across the top there, and again up here it's kind of flaking off. You can see there's a couple different layers there. This side screen, these were originally black. As you can see, a lot of that paint's kind of missing, more kind of like just a rusted look there, obviously, where that paint has worn off. Down here on the front tire on this side, not the best on tread depth there. Kind of getting pretty thin down here in these valleys. This was a 4-rib tire at one point. Now it's kind of almost looks like a big 3rd rib, but there is a little bit of a rib left there. I'm going to say we're under 10% tread depth there. Got some weather checking starting. Same thing on the sidewall there. There's some weather checking in that. Front rim, as you can see there, it's definitely been painted at some point. I don't see any major dents or gouges or anything on the outer edge of that rim. Fairly straight as far as that goes, but it's definitely been repainted at some point. Coming back here, we'll take a look at the rear fender on this side. Fairly straight here. I don't see any major dents, but you'll see there's some scuffs and scratches and paint peeling in some spots. Underneath the fender there is pretty good though. No major rust or anything underneath there. Looking at the rear tire on this side, rear tire is actually pretty darn good. I'm gonna say we are probably 55-60% tread depth. I think I'm being very fair there. There's definitely a lot of life left here in this rear tire. Really not much weather checking to speak of here either. Try to get my camera in a spot where it's not really casting a shadow there. It's kind of hard the way where we've got it parked right now and where the sun is, but definitely life left there in that rear tire. Sidewall looks pretty good. I don't really see weather checking there. And then taking a step back, looking at the rear rim on this side. Again, this rear rim has been painted at some point. Fairly straight. There is a little bit of a ding right there on that outer edge. Otherwise, just underneath, there's some typical scuffs and scratches that they painted over top of. Coming around to the back, like I said, does have the extendable 3-point arms. Drawbar looks pretty decent. 540 PTO. 2 rear remotes, like I said. And again, back here, everything looks in decent shape. Like I said, it's been repainted. It's not a pretty tractor, not fancy, but I don't see anything back here that looks like it's been busted or cracked or welded. These hydraulic hoses are starting to get a little weather checking there, if you can, as you can see. This Turnbuckle here looks like it's probably been replaced. Other than that, everything else looks pretty decent back here. Nothing else I'm seeing out of the ordinary. Inside of the rims, honestly, the insides of the rims I don't think have been painted. Those look original, so you can kind of see what they painted over top of. Just typical scuffs and scratches of a 90s model tractor. Same thing over here. Roll bar looks fairly straight. Coming over, taking a look at the rear fender on this side. Again, some scuffs and scratches here. Underneath of it, obviously it's been repainted as well. But underneath side of those fenders, they didn't have a bunch of rust or anything there. Scuffs and scratches up top here. Rear tire on this side matches up really well to the other side. Lots of tread depth there. Kind of starting to get a few little spots where it's getting a little bit of wear on these outer tread bars, but I don't see any weather checking here. Same thing with that sidewall. I'm not really seeing much for weather checking there. And then the outside of this rim, same thing as the other side. They've obviously painted the outsides of the rims. This one here, I see just one spot there where it's got a little bit of a ding in that outer edge. Otherwise, everything looks pretty square. That fender's fairly straight there. It's got a couple holes. It looks like they mounted something at some point. Probably had a toolbox or something up there. Toolbox here. Taking a look at the front tire on this side. Obviously it was the same 4-rib style. This one's a little better than the other side is. A little more tread depth on this one. I'm going to say maybe this one's probably 20-25%. I think I'm being pretty fair. You can see it's got some weather checking starting. And taking a look at the front rim on this side, matches up to the other side. Obviously it's been painted. It does have some spots where that paint's starting to flake off, but I don't see any big gouges or anything in the outer edge. Little bit of a ding right there. And coming up, taking a look at the sheet metal. As you can see here, it's got some paint peeling again up here on this, what we call the cowl there, and then the rest of the hood. It is fairly straight. I don't see any huge dents or dings here, but you can see there's multiple layers of paint starting to flake off in some spots. A couple little scuffs and scratches. This side shield, again, most of that black paint is gone. Like we said, 6 suitcase weights up front. Taking a good look up here in the front nose. Everything looks about like the rest of the tractor. It's definitely been painted. It's got some scuffs and scratches. No huge dents there. Same thing up here, just some scuffs and scratches and missing that top emblem. Coming over here, taking a look at the side of the engine. Looks fairly dry here. I don't see any oil or diesel running down the side of the block. Now I say with any used machine, I'm sure if you go over it with a fine-tooth comb, you're going to find a seep or two. I'll try to go slow here so you can see everything. Down back here, nothing out of the ordinary back here. Like I said, not the prettiest of tractors, but it does start and run. Go to the other side, take a look at the side of the block over here, side of the engine. My guess is it's either had a new injection pump or this one's been off and worked on, because normally that would have been green, I believe. Block heater there. Again, I don't see any oil or diesel running down the side of it. You see some, I mean, there's some dirt and stuff caked on the side here, but I don't see any oil or diesel or antifreeze running anywhere. Down here. Take a look at the operator station. That step is bent back just a little bit there. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but definitely bent back a little bit. The rest of that platform here, everything looks decent. Taking a look at that seat. Seat's actually decent. I don't see any cuts or tears there in that lower cushion or the backrest. Couple little dirt stains on that backrest, nothing out of the ordinary there. Here, tops of the fenders, you can see some paint peeling off and some surface rust, and there you can see where they, like I said, it looks like they probably had something mounted there at some point. Put a couple holes in the top of that fender and bolted something down. Remotes, 3-point brakes and your foot throttle. Dash. There you can see, I don't know how well you guys can see it, a little bit foggy there. Like I said, hour meter does not work, but it's showing, I don't know if you guys can see it in there, 55.46. Gear shift levers. Down there at the bottom of that fender, there's a spot here where it's ripped back. Up top here you can see that paint peeling. Alright, like I said, this one's a 1990 2755 showing 55.46 on the hour meter. If the hour meter doesn't work, so I don't know the exact hours. Plenty of photos on our website, that's listed down below. We'll fire it up and get right into an operational video.